Hey everybody, Principal Gayham here. I figured it's a little easier to make a video, put it on YouTube, and have you guys watch instead of putting together a phone message that's 3 or 4 minutes long. I want to give you kind of an update over the first 3 weeks, some of the things that are working really well, some of the things that I think we need to improve on. In general, first thing I want to say is every student who comes into this building, I continue to be super proud of every one of them. They meet every one of our expectations. Families, I appreciate all the support you continue to give us and making sure that things are getting done. So for those out there who are doing the right thing, continue doing it, continue being the supportive group that you are, and I appreciate every moment that I'm here. Some of the things that we're going to kind of clean up here, and that's what this video is for. First, when it comes to attendance, when somebody's supposed to be in person, we have a seating chart for tracing purposes. So what's happening is we have a lot of families who are supposed to be in person, and the kids don't make it into school, and we understand whether that's COVID related, there's sickness, things like that. So when you call in, and it has to be the parent who calls in, it can't have students call in. That hasn't changed. So when the parent calls in, lets us know that the student is not going to be coming to school today. The secretary is going to ask 2 simple questions, whether that's probably going to be, are they sick or do they have an appointment? And again, the purpose behind that is to find out if we need to start looking at a tracing issue, or if it's because your kid slept in. If your child slept in, just like last year, guys, that's an absence. It's an unexcused absence. They can't just sleep in. That's not how it works. This is still school. So if they choose to be remote, that's perfectly fine. We're going to mark it accordingly. So if you're supposed to be in person and you're not, we're going to mark it as an absence. Now we're going to put a new code in. If it's not an illness, instead they're just doing a remote learning, we're going to put a special code in. It's probably going to come in next week, marked with an R. The primary purpose behind this is if something does happen and Iowa County needs tracing, I can pull an attendance sheet a lot quicker if I have codes in there, so I can tell them, oh, on Monday and Tuesday, this person who's on seating chart was remote, so we don't have to worry about tracing that person. So they're going to start seeing some absences and some markings in their power school. Again, the purpose behind the remote learning was simply to allow families for COVID who don't feel safe to not worry about coming in and still get an education. So that's still going to be the same realm. Last year, if your student slept in and you called them off, they were unexcused absence. That theory shouldn't change, guys. This is just an easier way for them to make up their work. So please understand this is all about tracing, all about safety. And so if your student's supposed to be in person and you call them off, we have to mark it accordingly. Okay, so that's going to start happening. Secondly, when it comes to grades, we are a school. We're going to grade things. We're going to mark things. Once there's a due date, if that due date passes, it's going to be a 0 unless it's an amnesty project or topic. And if that's the case, you need to talk to your teacher. Again, there's a policy in place for amnesty, so make sure that gets taken care of. Summatives, you guys have to make sure the summatives get finished. We have some students who are kind of circumventing the summatives. They don't show up to their office hours. They don't show up to class, thinking that if I don't show up, I don't have to take the test. If you don't take the test, it's going to be marked as an incomplete, and if you don't finish those incompletes, you will not get credit for the class. So very simple. If you don't do the test, you're going to get it incomplete, and you're going to have to make it up at some point. So make sure you're doing what you got to do. Guys, every one of our summatives is still open note, open book. So there's no reason for you not to want to take it. Office hours, still between the hours of 1 and 2:30. A lot of times we're going to have students do their remakes or makeups and redos during that 1 to 2:30 block. Your teacher's going to reach out to tell you what day or days are the options. Make sure you're communicating with those teachers. If you have questions on homework or assignments, or just in general, use those 1 to 2:30. We're slowly getting an uptick in how many kids are using that office hours, which is great, but I still would like to see more. That's your opportunity to have conversations with teachers. If you need a block of time where you are one-on-one with the teacher, send them an email. They'll set something up, I promise you. Along with that, remember, guys, school is from 8 to 3. Your job is a student from 8 to 3. My job as a principal is, well, we're going to say 8 to 3, but it's a lot longer than that. Okay, that's our job. So at 1 o'clock, office hours start, and the teacher says you need to do this summative assignment, and you tell them, well, I have a job, I have to go to work. That's not your job. Okay, I love the fact that you're working, but I don't go and work at Chase Bank as a teller at 1 o'clock because I have no students here. My job as a principal from we're going to say continue to say 8 to 3. My job is here. So when you guys respond and someone asks me a question or my teachers need something from me from 1 to 3, I'm here because this is my job. You're a student. Your job is a student. So you need to tell your boss, hey, from 1 to 3, I shouldn't be working. Your employer should know that. Okay. So when you call and say, hey, I can't make this office hours, or hey, I can't make up that test, the idea that you have a job during the school day isn't going to work for me. So please talk to your employer, figure some things out, talk to your teachers, get things worked out. Lastly, KACC, this only applies to 40 of you, but again, for KACC, some of you guys only see this class one time a week, so you have to be diligent. Everybody else has those 3 classes they have to do 90 additional minutes of in the afternoon. Well, because you are not in 2 of those classes, we said part of your 90 minutes is going home and making up for that class you missed, and you have to make sure you do that. It is imperative that our KC students reach out to those teachers and make sure they're keeping up on their work. I'm happy to say a lot of them are doing it, but some of them are they're getting off the bus and they may be going home, and as a remote learner, that's fine. But then when you log on, you have to make sure that you're diligent to make up the time that you've missed, especially in the afternoon, and see the teacher during those office hours. That's what it's there for. Okay. So in all, I'm extremely happy with how the first 3 weeks have gone. I can't say enough nice things about every one of the students who come in. They follow our expectations. The staff is ecstatic when they see students around here. I'm ecstatic to have students in the building again. I'd love to see more, and I understand with the world we live in right now, it's a little bit difficult. But anybody wants to come in, you're more than welcome. We're going to keep you as safe as we can. So that's where it is. If you need anything from us, you know how to get a hold of us. Office numbers 708-946-2266. And again, if you reach out to me, I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as I can. Other than that, like I said, use those office hours. Students, reach out to the teachers. 1 to 2:30 it's really important that you use that time wisely. And then other than that, continue being safe. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I appreciate every one of you. Take care.